Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review. Today from Kenner Hasbro in their 3 3/4 Marvel Legends series, we are featuring the Sentinel from the Uncanny X-Men. Alright, so this very large action figure is kind of my gateway drug into the world of the 3 3/4 Marvel Legends action figures. The Marvel Legends action figures at the 3 3/4 scale came out 4 years ago, back in 2021. At the time, I thought they were amazing, but I just could not bring myself to buy the action figures because they were very expensive. For a figure that's under 4 inches, they were priced close to $20, and I just didn't want to go that route. But flash forward 4 years later in 2025, many of the figures are a lot cheaper on the secondary market. This figure, on the other hand, it's a little bit pricey, and this is the figure that I credit for getting me into the line. This fella popped up at one of my local collectible toy stores, and I could not resist. I had to buy him. I'm a huge fan of the robot Sentinels from the X-Men comic books. I think they're really cool. I kind of feel like this larger figure is like dual purpose. You can either display it next to your 3 3/4 Marvel Legends figures, or if you want, you could kind of migrate this into the larger 6-inch scale Marvel Legends figures and just classify this as one of the Omega Sentinels. Right, so a great looking card back, and it's a much larger card back as well. It's probably 2 or 3 times the size of a standard 3 3/4 Marvel Legends figure. It's very eye-catching. It looks phenomenal. The figure itself, very large. Comes with some cool accessories. It comes with the battle-damaged head, a blast accessory, and also comes with a long tendril. On the back, it says here, from the twisted mind of Bolivar Trask, the mutant hunting sentinels goes on the attack. And this figure came out back in 2022. Alright, it kind of pains me to open him up because he does look really cool on the card, but I want to play with this fella, so let's take him out. Alright, so first impressions of this figure while it's still in the tray. It looks fantastic. There was that 2-pack of Sentinel action figures that I think was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, and I did not buy those, and they're very expensive, but seeing this in hand makes me want to maybe possibly get those figures, because there's just something really neat about having a mutant hunting Sentinel figure at this size. It's not as large as that gigantic one we got some years ago. It's not anywhere near the same size as the old Toy Biz Build-A-Figure one, let alone that gigantic HasLab crowdfunded Sentinel. This one's just right. It can fit in the palm of your hand, and it looks awesome. It's very clean. The craftsmanship looks awesome. Here are the additional accessories. Comes with this blast effect, which I have no idea where this goes. Comes with an alternate portrait, which is the battle damaged head. Excuse me. It comes with this tentacle like accessory, which I'm assuming you put in his palm of his hand. Excuse me. And then you have the figure itself, which is a sight to behold. It's very large. He stands in at about 8 inches. Here is a size comparison next to a standard Marvel Legends figure. So you can see it's really, really cool. The detailing on this is nice. The chest has that vent piece, very cleanly sculpted. The paint application is nice. I love the presentation in terms of the overall aesthetic and color scheme. It's very iconic with the blue and the purple. Kind of has that very Sentinel looking facial expression where it's just constantly frowning. Has that very dead looking eyes. They're kind of just like staring a hole right through you. The articulation is very basic. His head swivels. It feels like it's on a ball joint, so it kind of rocks and rolls. Articulation at the shoulders. The forearms do swivel. And then the arm or the legs kick up at the hips. And that's essentially it. Alright, so for the additional accessories, you could swap out the head. Let's see how easy it is. This pops off. And then you can attach the battle damaged head, which looks that looks so wicked on him. And then he has the little socket in his hand. So if you want, you could attach the little tendril, which he uses to snare mutants when he's hunting them down. Or if you want, you can also use the blast effect, which we see right here. So if he wants to disintegrate mutants, like in the comic books, that's a really cool effect. But I think the big reason why I got this guy is because I think he looks fantastic alongside the toys he's meant to be displayed with. And that's the 3 3/4 X-Men figures right here. And this looks so cool. I'm so happy to have this set of X-Men figures at this scale. I do have the older Hasbro Marvel Legends / Universe / Infinite figures that were produced many, many years ago. But these figures all next to each other just look, I don't know, they just look amazing. Very stoked on this toy line. I kind of wish it still went on, but, you know, they're incredibly expensive at the time, and you know, it's unfortunate that the line is dead now, but you know, for me to be able to hunt these figures down in 2025 for like cheaper prices, you know, I'm all stoked on that. And let's try to get Cyclops caught in the snare. Yeah, so that's really cool. You know, here he is, he's getting caught by the Sentinels, and then you can have like Wolverine jump at him like this. And then he chops off the Sentinel's head like he always does. So yeah, great line of figures. If you passed up on these figures the first time, you know, now's your chance to get them. Many of these figures are pretty cheap on the secondary market. I think the one I paid the most for was Storm. I think I might have paid $24 for her. But the rest of these figures were maybe like $8 or $9. Wolverine, I think, was maybe, I want to say $12. And the Sentinel, I did have to pay a little bit more. I think I bought this guy for maybe like $25. But for me, he's well worth the purchase. You know, he's almost at the same level as Marvel Legends. You're getting a lot more plastic, even though the articulation isn't the greatest. It's still a wonderful and beautiful display piece. All right, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.